Hi, I'm Jaspreet Kaur. I'm a spoken word poet, writer and teacher from London and the author of The Spaces in Between. One of my favourite spaces in between here in the city has to be when I'm surrounded by books, so it will have to be some of the libraries and bookshops here in London. The Spaces in Between is all about finding moments of calm, solace and joy in the hustle and bustle of the big city. It's about finding those quieter spaces and moments of mindfulness that we sometimes miss. You can find joy and calm sitting on a park bench, riding a double-decker bus, or jumping in the crunchy leaves. It's about searching for those special moments. As a shy and introverted child who grew up in a big and bustling city like London, there were times when I found it hard to cope with the busyness, the noises, and so much going on around me. A book like this would have reminded me to search for those spaces in between and would have made me feel a bit more confident in my surroundings and that it's okay to feel a little nervous sometimes. If I had a book like this growing up, I think it would have made me love my city even more. At the back of the book, you'll find a number of wonderful mindfulness activities to try out, including stretching, breathing exercises, taking time to write, and spending time out in nature. These activities have proven to be really beneficial for our mental health and well-being, and are hopefully accessible to everyone to try out. The reason why teaching mindfulness is important for young people is that we know that 1 in 6 children aged 5 to 16 was identified as having probable mental health problems after the pandemic. That's 5 children in every classroom. So we need to be providing resources to young people, families and schools that can support them through this time. And most importantly, show them that there are tools that can help them feel better. These tools are lifelong and will hopefully get young people to think positively about their mental well-being. Writing poetry has always helped my well-being over the years. So the writing process was so much fun and really therapeutic. I also had to think about the kind of poetic story young people would want to hear. So I had to think back to what it was like for me as little Jaspreet, and what books, stories and images did I love? Growing up, I used to love going to the library every week with my dad and loan out as many books as I could. I had to think back to what that little girl would have wanted to see and would have wanted to read. As a teacher, and from what I could see in the classroom, I saw firsthand how much books and reading can support a child's well-being as well as their academic achievement. According to the Literacy Trust, children who are more engaged with reading are 3 times more likely to have higher levels of mental well-being than their peers. And 1 in 3 young people say that writing helps them relax. So it just goes to show how important reading, writing and storytelling can be. As you follow the journey of the characters in the book, you'll find that the illustrations reflect what many of our cities look like around the world. It emphasises that this book has a message for all communities. We see diversity in terms of gender, race, ethnicity, disability, age, and socio-economic status, which, as we know, has not always been the case in children's literature. For young people to pick up this book and say, hey, that looks like me, that looks like my best friend, that looks like my dad, that looks like my local high street, would just be incredible. There's so much confidence and joy that can be felt when you feel seen. Did you know that almost 4 billion people around the world live in cities? But often, a lot of children's literature focuses on the countryside and forests and the outdoors and neglects storytelling of our cities, where actually vast populations live. These cities have incredible melting pots of different cultures, histories, food, traditions and music, and that's what makes cities such a beautiful place. The sights and the sounds, from parks to museums to your local coffee shop, these are all the spaces in between that we can cherish and can help us feel more connected to our surroundings. We need to celebrate that more, and that's exactly what this book is trying to do.